The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus, 1883. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows world-wide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. If you're watching this on the day of the release, it's July 4th, 2026. It's been exactly 250 years since America publicly declared independence from Britain, and I thought it fitting to focus on a very special American poem on this day. The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus is arguably the most important poem about America in American history. Certainly its final lines articulate, alongside Lincoln's Gettysburg Address and the Declaration of the Independence itself, the ideals of America in a durable form that will, I hope, not be forgotten as long as America endures. We could be forgiven for thinking that Emma Lazarus was a one-hit wonder, penning a famous sonnet and then fading slowly into obscurity. But in fact, The New Colossus was written toward the end of a busy career as a writer and thinker. Born in 1849, Lazarus grew up during the American Renaissance and cut her teeth as a poet, translator, novelist, and political theorist in the 1860s and 70s. Her early collections caught the attention of Emerson, who supported her work. Before she was a champion of immigrants, Lazarus promoted German literature, especially the writings of Heine and Goethe. But the persecution of Jews by the Russian Empire in the early 1880s turned her focus toward her own identity as a Sephardic Jew, and in 1882 she published a collection of poems called Songs of a Semite. In 1883, she wrote The New Colossus, to honor the waves of Jewish and other immigrants who were seeking political refuge in America, and to help raise funds for a pedestal for the newly constructed Statue of Liberty. Though Lazarus died in 1887, it wouldn't be until 1903 that the final lines of The New Colossus were placed on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. Since then, they have become an indelible part of American self-consciousness, even American self-identity, despite those in America who have been uneasy with such an identity. The New Colossus itself is a Petrarchan sonnet, 14 lines rhyming A-B-B-A, A-B-B-A, C-D, C-D, C-D. The basic rhetorical structure of the sonnet is a description of a figure followed by a speech from that figure. The figure in question is the Mother of Exiles, a mighty lady depicted by the Statue of Liberty. Her speech is an address to the world. Lazarus capably uses the sonnet's form to organize these two sections. The first section, the description of the mighty lady, she fits into the first 8 lines. The first 8 lines of a sonnet, as we've talked about before, are often called an octave. These 8 lines are unified not just by grammatical focus, but also by the rhyme scheme, ABBA, ABBA. Lazarus chooses repeating aim and rhymes, fame, land, stand, flame, name, hand, mand, fame. Frame. It is noteworthy that 3 of the 4 aim rhymes also include an F sound at the beginning, fame, flame, frame. Lazarus gets a lot of usage out of the word fame, dropping in first an L sound, flame, and then an R sound, frame, shading her sound to shift her meaning. There is a stability of sonic elements here. She has planted her end rhyme in fame and will not be easily moved from it. The speech of the lady she places in the last 6 lines, or sestet, of the sonnet, with its new rhyme scheme of CD, CD, CD. She chooses another simple 2 sounds to rhyme on, E and OR. E is one of the most versatile end rhyme sounds, as it is easily usable with personal pronouns, me, he, she, we, and of course the quintessential American word, free. I have spoken before about Lazarus's choice to begin the poem with a negation. Before she will tell us what this lady is like, she will tell us what she is not like, namely the old Colossus of Rhodes, that brazen giant of Greek fame. That old Colossus was domineering, daunting, and, for what it's worth, male. He was the one of conquering limbs, and that is not the kind of Colossus that we will have. The use of the phrase land to land seems like an imperial phrase. The old Colossus joins lands that are naturally separated by his own stride, much like empires annex new land after new land to their own political state. The lady who is coming will join lands in a hospitable and welcome way, not a conquering way. We'll look at that more in a minute. All the negation about the old Colossus takes just 2 lines, and they're easy to overlook. But I think these lines are as politically significant as the positive statements in the rest of the poem. Do you see, Lazarus might ask, someone raising up a conquering brazen Colossus? That's not America. At least it shouldn't be. That's the old way. Lazarus will show us a better one. We have a mighty woman instead of a man in America. It was not perhaps lost on Lazarus that she was a woman writing about a woman, a female writer destined for immortality who strove to make another female figure immortal in her verse. This mighty woman holds imprisoned lightning. And I can't help of thinking that earlier in the century, William Wordsworth had half-teasingly called the sonnet itself a prison with 14 bars. And there is here a sense in which Lazarus herself is the one who holds imprisoned lightning, the radical power of liberty and the radical message of liberty held within the frame of a poem. The speech of the lady is so well known that it is surely to some cliché. But attention to what we think we know will be rewarding. The lady starts her speech, as Lazarus does her sonnet, with a denial. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp. Just as Lazarus wants no conquering limbs, the mother of exiles wants no pomposity. This is a denial, perhaps, of an inheritance of all that is grand in the old world. As Lazarus was writing this poem, the glorious Russian Empire was disenfranchising it and expelling Jews from its lands. America could invite, if it so wanted, only the best and brightest from Russia and keep out the rabble. America, as both Lazarus and we know, has often acted like this. But Lazarus reverses such priority. It is precisely not the storied pomp of other worlds that America wants. It is the poor, the wretched refuse, the tempest-tossed, in a word, all exiled peoples. As a Jew, Lazarus had this exile deep in her bones. She had it as an inheritance. As a reader of literature, she also knew it in the old stories, the children of Israel, the wandering Odysseus, Aeneas and his Trojan exiles, Prospero and Miranda, Evangeline, Ishmael. This is a poem and a mother for all of them. This America, at least an America that could be. She knew, of course, you know, I know, that this isn't what America always is. It isn't what America always has been. The lamp beside the golden door, which ends the poem, is a hope, a plea that has often fallen on deaf ears, a plea that some have just plain disagreed with. I think of a scene in Virgil's Aeneid, Book 6, where Aeneas is speaking to the spirit of his father, Anchises, in the underworld. Anchises seeks in his short time with his son to pass on the wisdom that will guide him to be the father of the Roman people. Anchises says, "Remember, Roman, these will be your arts, to subdue the proud and to spare the conquered." America isn't Rome, of course. We're America. And on this day, 250 years after our country's founding, when the old debates and rivalries still rage, Lazarus can act as a sort of Anchises, saying, "Let this be our ideal, our rallying. Not the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. No, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand still can glow world-wide love."